Welcome back to The Invisible Industry, the podcast where we discuss and educate on everything you didn't know about agricultural rendering, brought to you by the North American Renderers Association, or NARA. I'm your moderator, Anna Carlson. I'm the Vice President of Communications for NARA, and joining me, as always, is our host, Mr. Marcus Windsor. Today, we're very excited to have with us Madelynn Pimm. Madelynn is the winner of the first ever NARA Rendering Scholarship. The scholarship was launched in honor of National Rendering Day, and in order to be considered, one had to submit an application, transcript, proof of enrollment, and an essay on why rendering is important in today's world. Even though the competition was strong and we had many impressive submissions, Madelynn's essay stood out for its vision, insight, and passion for sustainability and rendering. So today we're going to have a chance to chat with Madelynn. She's even agreed to read her essay for us, so we are in for a treat. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Marcus to get us started.
Thanks again for the introduction, Anna, and thank you again for all of you for being with us today. We're super excited to have Madelynn with us on today's episode. Madelynn is a senior at Penn State University, majoring in agribusiness management and international agriculture. She's passionate about building stronger connections between producers and consumers and helping advance the agricultural industry through effective marketing and communication. Madelynn, it sounds like you do a lot of extracurriculars. Can you talk about those a little bit?
Yeah, totally. So I'm involved in Penn State Block and Bridle, Collegiate Cattlewomen, and I'm also on the Livestock judging team.
Now, I've got here that you're actually the president of Penn State Collegiate Cattlewomen. Is that true?
Yep. Yeah, that's true. What's
the involvement in those like? What are the things that you like doing at those?
Yeah, so Collegiate Cattlewomen and Block and Bridle are obviously both livestock clubs. Collegiate Cattlewomen is obviously more focused on beef and dairy cattle, and it's more of an educational and community-like club. So we do a lot of events with the community. Our big event is actually coming up in a few weeks. It's called Cattle School. So we educate kids from ages 8 to 18 on all different aspects of the cattle industry. And then our big event in the spring is called Meat In Day. So here at Penn State a few years ago, they tried to have Meat Out Fridays where they would only serve vegetarian options at the dining halls. And so as a livestock club that really likes the cattle industry, we kind of bounced back from that and came up with Meat In Day. So we like to educate students and even community members, hand out meat sticks, cheese sticks, all that kind of stuff, and educate them on why they need to keep animal-based products in their diets. And then I'm also involved in Block and Bridle. So that's more about educating students on the livestock industry. So we help a lot with different Pennsylvania organizations like the Pennsylvania Livestock Association or the Pennsylvania Cattlemen's Association. So we help them with different events, go to different shows, host our own shows and things like that.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Also heard that you like to travel a lot and see how agriculture takes shape in different parts of the world. Is that true? And what are some places you've been to and different things you've seen?
Yeah, so I've been to a lot of different places on the East Coast. I was also able to travel to Saskatchewan, Canada for my internship over the summer, and I thought that was really interesting. I got to go there and tour SCCL, which is a cattle colostrum company, and we got to tour some different farms that contribute to their colostrum, and it was really just interesting to see how they do things. They have so much more land than us, and just the way that they produce their cattle is it's really different from the U.S. and it's not even very far, honestly. So it was very interesting.
Well, that's awesome. Again, we want to thank you for being here today, and we're really excited to jump on these questions. So first up, what inspired you to apply for the Rendering Scholarship?
Yeah, so I applied for the Rendering Scholarship because I wanted to highlight an area of animal agriculture that doesn't always get the attention that it deserves. There's been a newfound interest in sustainability and reducing waste in the food system, and rendering does exactly that. And I don't feel that it gets the attention that it needs. It takes what might otherwise be discarded and it turns it into something valuable. And when I learned about this scholarship, I thought that it was really just a perfect combination of my passion for agriculture while also using the trend of environmental stewardship and sustainability.
That's excellent. And finding a way to blend those together with your education seems like a perfect fit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you became interested in animal agriculture and rendering?
Yeah, so I grew up on a small farm in Western New York. We raised breeding sheep, beef cattle, and market hogs. I actually first learned about rendering when I was just getting into 4-H, like 8 or 9 years old. And it really amazed me by how much value it adds behind the scenes of agriculture. I also learned very early on how important animals are to both families and communities. And I'm now an agribusiness management major, as you had said earlier, at Penn State. And continuing my education in the agricultural industry, I've just become fascinated by the systems that connect farmers, consumers, and the environment, and rendering just does just that.
Many people don't know what rendering is. How do you explain it to friends or family or classmates?
When I explain rendering to people who maybe didn't grow up in the world of agriculture or grow up on a farm, I like to say that it's the ultimate recycling system. It's the process of taking leftover animal materials, things that can't be used for human consumption, like bones or different organs, and turning them into safe and useful products like pet food ingredients, biofuels, and fertilizers. Rendering is one of those industries that operates quietly, but it plays a huge role in making agriculture more efficient and sustainable.
Why do you think rendering is an important part of the food system and sustainability on the whole?
Rendering is so important because it keeps millions of tons of animal byproducts out of landfills every year and repurposes them into something valuable. I covered this in my essay. Rendering reduces greenhouse gas emissions, minimizes waste, and supports the circular economy. And it's all about using resources efficiently and responsibly. Without rendering, the environmental impact of livestock production would be so much higher. It's really a bridge between animal agriculture and sustainability, really ensuring that every part of the animal has a purpose.
What misconceptions about rendering would you like to clear up?
I think a common misconception about rendering is that it's unsafe or unsanitary, when in reality, it's really a highly regulated and science-driven process. Rendering plants follow these really strict safety and environmental standards, and these products that they create, like pet food and livestock feed, are very high quality and nutrient rich. I don't think a lot of people understand the amount of hoops that these companies have to jump through in order to produce feed for animals, especially when you're using animal byproducts.
Well, those are excellent points, Madelynn. You sound already like a spokesman for the rendering industry with a lot of your answers, and we really appreciate that. It's nice to see, that somebody who's kind of outside the industry, but studying about, agriculture and so can see these types of things. So that's always nice to hear. Looking forward, what excites you most about the rendering industry's future? Obviously, it has, like you said, a big part to play in sustainability, and it should hopefully continue to do so. What do you see, and what is exciting for you to see looking forward?
I'm really excited about how innovation is shaping rendering, especially with renewable energy and new uses for rendered products like renewable diesel and aviation fuel from animal fats. I also think it's exciting to see the rendering industry become part of the larger conversation around sustainability, as I said earlier. As more consumers care about where their products come from, rendering has a more powerful story to tell. The industry is finding creative ways to contribute to climate goals and sustainable food systems. And I think it's an incredible example of how agriculture continues to evolve. And I'm really excited to see more young people learn about it and get more involved in promoting its value.
How would you go about trying to get more young people involved or interested in the rendering industry?
I think just talking about it, like I had said earlier, I didn't understand why more people didn't know about rendering because I grew up in animal production and livestock agriculture. And so I always kind of understood that point. So I think talking about it from a young age, and I mean, social media is always an answer with people from my generation. That's people look at social media all day, every day. And I think agriculture as a whole is finding a bigger part in social media, using TikTok, Instagram, Facebook to kind of connect with a younger generation. And I think using that to talk more about rendering, I think that would really connect rendering to a younger generation.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I hope to see myself working in agricultural marketing or communications with a long-term career goal of connecting producers, consumers, and industries like rendering by telling their stories. I want to use my education and agricultural experiences to advocate for sustainable practices in agriculture and help bridge that gap between what happens on the farm and what the public understands and sees for themselves, whether that's through marketing, education, or policy. My goal is to make agriculture and even smaller industries like rendering more visible and appreciated by the public.
That sounds like an excellent goal. So Madelynn, you're kind of representative of an up and coming generation and the future of the rendering industry and agriculture as a whole. If you were to have a few words to speak to that future generation to kind of spark their interest or kind of point them in a direction of where they could start an interest in the rendering industry, what would you say to them? Or where would you point them to start that journey?
Yeah, totally. So I think if I were to try and spark their interest and get them into the rendering industry as a whole, I think I would really touch on that point of sustainability, because that is a really big trend, especially with younger generations. People my age really want to understand where their products come from, where their food comes from, and things like that. And focusing on the sustainability and the recycling that the rendering industry uses, I think that would spark a lot of interest in these younger generations. And I think if they were interested and wanted to find out more, I would definitely suggest them to go to one of these facilities or talk to someone that they might know. Even like a local farmer would probably know someone who's involved in the rendering industry. And I think that they would welcome you with open arms, especially younger generations, people my age. They really want to look for other people who are interested.
Yeah, those are excellent points, Madelynn. And, people can always also reach out. We have NARA.org, which I'm sure Anna will plug at the end of the episode like she does every time. But they can find some contacts there and reach out through there if they're more interested as well. Thanks again, Madelynn, for being here today. We greatly appreciate it, and thanks for answering all these questions. Would you mind sharing your essay with us and the audience out there?
Yeah, totally. The hidden hero of agriculture, why rendering matters. In a world where sustainability and resource efficiency are more critical than ever, rendering quietly plays a vital role in supporting agriculture and the circular economy. Though often overlooked, the rendering industry transforms otherwise wasted animal byproducts into valuable goods, which then reduces environmental impact, supports farm economies, and even nourishes our pets. Growing up on a small farm, I saw firsthand the effort that it takes to raise livestock and the importance of respecting every part of the animal. Rendering makes this possible by repurposing parts that are not consumed by humans, like fat, bones, and offal, into products such as pet food, biofuels, and fertilizers. Instead of sending these materials to landfills where they would then produce greenhouse gases, rendering facilities process them into something useful and keep billions of pounds of waste out of the environment each year. This significantly reduces the carbon footprint of the meat industry and is a key contributor to regenerative, sustainable agriculture. As a college student studying agribusiness management and deeply involved in animal science clubs like Block and Bridle and Collegiate Cattlewomen, I've developed a greater appreciation for rendering's role in the entire agricultural supply chain. I've learned how rendering not only reduces waste, but also supports the economic viability of livestock production. By creating marketable byproducts, rendering helps farmers and processors recover value from parts that would otherwise be discarded. It's a perfect example of circular economies in action, turning waste into wealth. Rendering also plays an essential role in pet nutrition. Many high-quality pet foods rely on rendered meat, meals, and fats to provide complete and balanced diets. This industry ensures that companion animals receive nutritious and affordable food while reducing the burden on natural resources. It's a win-win for pet owners, animals, and the planet. Beyond that, rendering even contributes to public health. By safely processing and sanitizing animal byproducts, it reduces the risk of disease transmission and environmental contamination. This protects communities while maintaining the integrity of our food system. What excites me most about rendering is its innovation potential. From producing renewable diesel to creating more efficient feed ingredients, rendering continues to evolve with science and technology. As someone passionate about agricultural marketing and sustainability, I believe rendering deserves more attention, especially from the public. It's an unsung hero of the ag world, doing the behind-the-scenes work that helps agriculture become more efficient, responsible, and future-focused. Rendering matters because it respects the animal, supports farmers, feeds our pets, and protects our planet. And that's a message worth sharing.
That was excellent, Madelynn. Thank you again for being here today, and thanks for sharing that essay with us. I can see why you're the first-time recipient. I'd like again to thank you for being our guest today and taking this time out of your busy schedule to record this episode. And thanks to everyone at home. We look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Thank you so much for joining us, Madelynn, and congratulations again. And thank you out there for joining us for another episode of The Invisible Industry. We hope you'll join us again. For more information about the North American Renderers Association or rendering, you can visit our website at NARA.org. Stay curious, everyone. And to all our rendering listeners out there, stay seen and stay green.